So let's start this broadcast with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. And this, of course, has got to do with what is unfolding at this moment in the Gaza Strip. The world is watching in absolute horror as one catastrophe after another is being wreaked on innocent civilians. Now, there are now concerns that this is a crisis that could still spill beyond the borders of Gaza. Now, in the last 24 hours, Hamas has released 2 more Israeli hostages. This, of course, could be a sign of some abatement, at least this is what it appears, from the Palestinian faction. But Israel has continued with its relentless pounding of the Gaza Strip, dropping bombs that weigh at least about 2,000 pounds. And what is being said is that this air offensive by the Israelis is being done to soften the ground for a potential ground offensive. In fact, let's take a look at some of the latest developments. Hamas has released 2 more hostages that it has in its captivity. 2 elderly Israeli women have now been set free. They were handed to agents of the Red Cross and they were set free. They reportedly were set free on health grounds. The women are about 79 and 85 years old respectively. Earlier, an American mother and daughter duo had been released by Hamas again on humanitarian grounds. There are an estimated over 200 hostages who are held captive by Hamas. Many of them are said to be Israeli military personnel who were captured by the Hamas fighters on the 7th of October. Now, there are reports that state that Hamas is stating that it is willing to release more hostages, especially those with dual nationalities. Meanwhile, the state of Israel is continuing with the only strategy that it has so far deployed, and that is to bomb Gaza. According to Israeli official statement, the country could soon carry its expected ground offensive into the Gaza Strip. But remember, for the last 10 days and more than that, the Israeli military has been stating that it is still preparing the ground for a ground offensive. And as per the Israeli chief of staff, the country has no intention of curbing its strikes on the Gaza Strip. The Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, during a tour along the Gaza coastline, has said that Israel is preparing thoroughly for its next step, and that is expected to be a multilateral operation from air, ground and sea, echoing exactly the same words that Hamas had said when it had attacked Israel on the 7th of October. These strong statements have come amid reports that there is pressure on Israel by its allies to delay any kind of a ground offensive. Reports indicate that the United States has now urged Israel to delay the ground operation to allow for time to secure the release of hostages and shipments of aid into the Gaza Strip. The American President Joe Biden has said that any discussions about a Gaza ceasefire could take place if Hamas were to free all hostages seized by Israel. But remember, Hamas in the past has said that it is willing to release hostages if Israel were to stop bombing. But we've heard nothing from Tel Aviv as to what its strategy is to try and secure the release of its hostages.
We should have a ceasefire. Not a ceasefire, we should have a hostage release.
Joe Biden also has spoken with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and reaffirmed his commitment to the ongoing efforts of what the Israelis are doing in the Gaza Strip. He's also urged for the need for a continuous flow of aid into the Gaza Strip. Now, according to the White House, the United States has sent some military advisors to the state of Israel following the relentless campaign of air bombings that Israel has launched on the Gaza Strip. Effectively, Israel at this moment as we speak is using weapons that are made in America for carrying out these relentless attacks. And these American officers have been put in place for their experience of, quote-unquote, the sorts of operation that Israel is conducting and may conduct in the future. And they're also there to share their perspective on how to go about with this campaign of relentless bombing. The humanitarian cost of this war is horrific. The worst impacted are the young children and women. Many say that this war by the Israelis in the Gaza Strip is essentially a war on young children. And according to humanitarian organizations, Save the Children, at least about 2,000 children have been killed in the Gaza Strip in the last 17 days. 27 more have been killed in the West Bank, while 27 children have been killed in Israel. This is according to Israeli media claims. Amidst all the devastation in Gaza, there are visuals of a complete power outage in the Gaza Strip, including in hospitals. Meanwhile, Hamas leaders are also calling on the Arab and Muslim leaders to take a stand amidst the soaring death toll in the Gaza Strip. Hamas's political bureau chief has said that the West's pro-Israeli position has built a wall between the Western countries and the Arab and Muslim populations that will never go away. The leaders have further warned that Israel will never be safe until the Palestinians can enjoy safety, freedom, sovereignty, and more importantly, dignity. Now, on the other hand, Israel claims that it has killed 5 commanders of the key Hamas group in the 17 days of its campaign of relentless bombing on the Gaza Strip. Now, the RDF says that each of the commanders was a member of the Hamas aerial array, which operates a variety of weapons against the state of Israel, and it played a significant role in the attack that took place on the 7th of October. In other updates, the former American President Barack Obama has got a dire warning for the state of Israel for its actions in the Gaza Strip. Barack Obama has said that Israeli campaign of relentless bombing in which civilians are getting killed, including many children, could eventually backfire on the Israeli state. Now, Barack Obama has said that some of Israel's actions in its war against Hamas, like cutting off food and water supplies, could actually harden the Palestinian attitudes for generations to come. And it could also weaken international support that is there at this moment for the state of Israel. And our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's been tracking developments from New York about the American hostages currently held in Gaza, has sent us this report. Listen.
An unspecified number of American citizens sought to leave Gaza through the Rafah crossing when a humanitarian convoy entered from Egypt. But according to the spokesperson for the State Department, they weren't able to do so, citing reports that Hamas blocked anyone from entering the Egyptian side from Gaza. The spokesperson for the State Department also said that the United States is not in direct contact with Hamas regarding U.S. citizens in Gaza. About 600 U.S. citizens are believed to be in Gaza. This is apart from the hostages believed to be held captive by Hamas.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.